Hey there, this is Dante. Hope you're having a really blessed, awesome day. This is the Lionsgate today, 8/8/2017, and the energies right now are coming in very powerfully. And there's a lot out there about collapsing timelines, calling in these new waves of light onto the planet. And it's true that there's really strong energies coming forth for us now, though what does it really mean in our personal reality? There's a lot of really good kind of metaphysical details out there that people are explaining, and I just wanted to share a little bit about my experience and how you can bring yourself to a higher timeline. So it helps to understand what are timelines. That we have a expression as humans that experiences time as linear, though from all that is creator's perspective, that's bullshit. All that is actually experiences infinite amounts of timelines. So our soul is simultaneously within infinite other paths that the same body and went on in different dimensions and alternate universes. They're all out there existing. Every moment when you change your point of focus, you, through law of attraction, bring into reality a different experience, a different timeline. And this is something that we're all doing all the time, whether we're realizing it or not. And every moment we're in an alternate universe. So it's important to really be real and authentic with ourselves if we want to bring in the greatest timeline. I've experienced that, as some people say, that secondary or tertiary timelines, meaning timelines that are not of the highest, most aligned interest for all that is, for the age of light to come into reality on the new earth. That's the highest timeline, and there are some variations of it, though as we dedicate ourselves to doing light work and to bringing that into manifestation and living in our own purposeful way towards that, the older the other timelines that are of a lower vibration, of a lower density, fall away. Though many of us are at a point in our awakening process, including myself, where we can jump back and forth between the high density amazing timelines and the lower density timelines. And you can feel this viscerally kind of in your body if you tune into it, if you start to kind of think about and see where you've been shooting arrows into your future, and question what you're going towards. And you can practice manifesting tools, yet manifest from a lower energy within you because you haven't dove deep enough within yourself to kind of see that what you're actually wanting is motivated by avoidance of something. It's motivated by avoiding the stores of trauma within, rather than purifying them and processing them. So it's, in order to bring ourselves into the greatest alignment, it's a balance between, we always have to live from our heart, which means follow our excitement, which means do what makes our heart beat faster, which means live in a way of love for ourselves and others continuously and radiate that joyful, positive energy. Though also it means that we have to allow completely authentically all of the darkness, all of the not so nice things to come up within us, and be the first one to love those unhealed parts of ourselves. If we start making plans into the future to that are actually out of a motivation to avoid the negative feelings, we generate a future that will bring up the same patterns again and again. And in order to really transcend those patterns, in order to really master attracting a more ideal reality, we have to let ourselves re-experience, and through loving those unhealed, traumatized aspects of ourselves, we clear the need within us to manifest another thing that's going to bring us to that stuck place, because we almost suicidally just drop into where there's that stuckness. And that's a metaphorical kind of suicide. That's kind of a joke. But it can feel really like that way sometimes. When really heavy, intense, dark things come up, we just let ourselves drop into that and let that be what it is. And look into where has this emotional pattern played out in our lives before, and get to that wound deep in the past. Because time is simultaneous, the parts of our past that we don't remember or that we avoid and still hold on to will keep coming with us and manifest in different ways until we let ourselves feel all of that stagnant energy from the past. So part of shifting into a new timeline means to go back into those old timelines and drop those emotions by feeling them, by allowing them, and by seeing them clearly for what it is and asking why am I experiencing this? Why is this coming up again for me? Most importantly, loving the you that feels that way and not believing that impulse, whether it comes from outside or from your conditioning that says you have to change this in order to be spiritual and helpful in the world. Or worse yet, if you don't stop feeling this way right now, then you're going to attract something bad to you. Oh gosh. Don't do that. Allow is the biggest key in shifting into the timelines. And sometimes it means that we really change the future course of where we're going to meet our excitement. And I myself put myself in a place where I was making plans in the future, some of which were based in love and expansion entirely, and some of them were actually based in fear, based in avoiding what I didn't want. And having put those plans into motion, my body was churning and freaking out, and I had to remove myself in a way, in the most embodied way, having values and integrity that I could, in order to find that forward momentum and that state of balance once more. So if you are shooting arrows into your future that are actually just ways for you to avoid more of what you don't want, rather than expressing your true authenticity, then maybe question that and bring that into a new reality. So a very powerful way to really access this is by going deep within yourself and letting the visions come to you. So I want to guide a little short meditation that can help you to shift into another timeline. And it's quite simple, and you can do this every so often, because remember, we do shift quite a bit from alternate timelines. But once you learn to kind of feel and sense within your body what it feels like to be heading towards your most aligned timeline, your most aligned expression of unity and the co-creation of the new earth, you'll feel that, you'll know that, and it'll be easier to recognize the responses that you get when you're not in that state, in that timeline and trajectory. So if you close your eyes and visualize from your own heart center that there are 1,000 golden threads of energy. And these golden threads of energy go in every direction. And each golden thread is just a representation of the timelines that are before you. The timelines that you experience by focusing upon them. There's an infinite amount of these threads, and we just picture 1,000 of them because it's easier to grasp, easier to visualize. Once you have that image and that sense, ask to find the thread of light that is the one representing the timeline you're currently heading towards. And when you find it, allow it to open into a vast tube of light. See this tube of light in front of your heart center, and ask for the energy from this timeline, from what you perceive as the future, to enter your body. And as you do, notice how it feels in your body, and allow all of the intuitive impressions that come from focusing on this timeline to come to you. It can be images, could be thoughts, but most importantly, you are reading the energy in a felt way. How does the energy of this future timeline feel in your body? Where does your body respond to it? Does your body feel comfortable in this future timeline? Maybe you get images from moments way out in the future. Maybe not. Now that you have that sense, close that timeline, close that tube of golden light, and let it become a single thread once more. And now ask to find the timeline that's moving you in the direction of your most aligned, highest expression of self. The highest probable timeline that exists for you and exists for Gaia and for all humanity. It's the timeline in which you enjoy the most service to the evolving earth. And as you find that timeline, again, allow that timeline to open up into a golden tube of energy. And let the energy from this highest probable timeline begin to enter your body. And notice how this timeline feels. Notice if you get any impressions, psychic awareness, messages, and let the energy from this highest probable timeline become familiar to you. And after you feel complete with experiencing the energy from your highest probable timeline, allow that tube of energy to move back to a single thread, and if you liked the second option more, you can visualize a scissors or a sword cutting out from you the first timeline that you witnessed, just as a symbolic way of saying you're going to shift into the second timeline, the highest probable timeline. And as you do, and you make that connection with your own highest probable timeline, just feel that sense that you're moving in that direction. And that what you're experiencing right now is a great indicator to you that you are focusing in a way that this highest timeline is coming into your experience. With that awareness, you can start to come back. Open your eyes and just give yourself the confirmation, the awareness that after doing any practice such as that one, you are a different person afterwards. You are now a different version of yourself than you were when you began doing that process. And so you can always come back to that process when you feel like you're moving in the wrong direction, to get a sense of if the timeline that you're on now is a little off from the highest probable timeline. And as you continue to bring yourself back to this, you will have a sense of how this practice is a very powerful way to rearrange your vibrational template so that where you're focusing is really aligned with that grand vision. And always remember to just allow and love yourself where you're at. And that while we have that awareness of the greatest timeline, meaning that we're moving towards this unified humanity and we are developing our own gifts and talents so that we can contribute to that greatest humanity and share expanded consciousness and awareness in that process, because consciousness is the greatest tool and through which we will actually make the changes. Just remember that it's each and now in this moment. It's the little things that contribute the most to the big things. It's the subtle awareness that you bring to the smallest of interactions that will most determine your direction moving forward. So enjoy this powerful time. I hope you enjoyed this little connection we have now. And check out blissbeings.com and contact me for any private work or sessions, and I would be happy to assist and share heart space with you. Enjoy a blessed day.